Well, good morning. Welcome to another live this morning. Hope you're having a great day. Good start to the week. We're going to continue with Friday's session, which was question and answer. So, Francis, how are you? And Rita and Darlene and Mike, John, our friend, on with us this morning. Marcia, you get, and Francis, good to have you on. Sorry, Jeanette. Another Jeanette, not our Jeanette. Sandy, Jeanette, Annette. Good for you guys. Thanks for coming on. We appreciate it. Gail and Cease and Elsie. Good morning. Bruno, Lucy, Nick, but another Nick. Nicole, Andrea, Steph. Good morning, Steph. Hope you're having a great day. Jane, Margaret, Morris from North Bay, and Arlene. We appreciate you guys coming on. Okay? Thanks for the big crowd. We appreciate it every time. Believe you me. Okay. So let's get going. And Erica, Roland, Denise, good to have you on with us this morning. So I'm going to continue on. Now, somebody asked me this about why I allow, and I do allow, a seed, only one, on the reset. I want you to use it like a supplement. I mean, it's optional. You don't have to do it. But when you make Dr. Martin's Perfect Smoothie, okay, and during the reset, you don't use any berries. You use cream, heavy cream. You can use bone broth as a protein powder. That's what I particularly like because it's very high in, it's good for everything but collagen. But people have been asking because it seems to send a mixed message about flaxseed. Now, I'm very big on flaxseed. I've been very consistent about it. Flaxseed, think of it as more of a supplement, okay? And that's why I allow it. And the reason is, listen, here's why flaxseed. No other seed is flaxseed. Do you have to grind them up? Nah. I mean, if you want to grind them up, grind them up. Your gut will grind them up, by the way. The reason I like it as a supplement, okay, a couple of tablespoons or whatever you can put in a Dr. Martin's Perfect Smoothie, is because it lowers estrogen. Estrogen is a big problem today. It's a big problem in our society, and estrogen is a growth hormone. Any plastic, fragrance, almost all of them, any cleaner that you have in your house, unless it's a natural cleaner, it mimics estrogen. Ladies, it's not that you don't have enough estrogen. You got hormonal problems, you have an imbalance, but your body thinks everything chemical is estrogen. We call them xenoestrogens. So in this day and age, I always love flaxseed. Think of it as a supplement. If you're on the reset, you're taking your supplements. You're taking your probiotics. You're taking vitamin D or whatever you're taking. And this is a supplement. That's the way I look at it. Okay? Very, very good for your bowel, too. But it mops up extra estrogen. In flaxseed, there are, it's a substance called lignans, L-I-G-N-A-N-S, lignans, that pick up estrogen. Men, testosterone. When testosterone goes down, estrogen goes up, and As Arnold Schwarzenegger used to say, you become a girly man. I guess that's not probably appropriate anymore, but I don't care. I'm going to tell it like it is. Men at the age of 50, a lot of men have more estrogen than their wives have. But estrogen is a growth hormone. It's a cancer-producing hormone. Oh, Dr. Martin, my doctor said when I got breast cancer that my cells weren't receptive to estrogen. You want to bet? They might not have been super sensitive to estrogen, but estrogen is a growth hormone. And they make things grow, grow, grow. I'm always trying to lower that. That's why I want to lower your insulin. By the way, study came out on the weekend. Just talk about this for 5 seconds. Diabetics who take insulin, because their insulin doesn't work. Diabetes is a disease of insulin resistance. That's what causes it. And then eventually your body has to insulin, and then you know, it's almost like I got this pen and it runs out of ink. That's a diabetic because their insulin's not working anymore. So then the doctor gives you insulin. I get it. I understand that. Because they don't understand anything about nutrition, so they give insulin rather than saying to the patient, you know what? You got a disorder of food. You and carbs don't get along anymore. Stop eating them. What? Yeah, just stop eating carbs and you won't be diabetic anymore. Because you and carbs don't get along. That's diabetes. It's simple. But there's no money in that. The pharmaceutical industry wants you to use metformin or insulin. But here's the study. It showed that diabetic patients using insulin, because what happens to most diabetics, as they get older, you know, they start off with medications and then they got to flip to insulin and have a pump, or they're injecting insulin all the time. They are twice as likely to develop a cancer. Why? Insulin is a growth hormone. Insulin is a growth hormone. So is estrogen. So the question was asked about flaxseed. Use it as a supplement. That's the way I look at it. I love flaxseed. Okay? So it is allowed, not any other seeds, not any other nuts. I'm not saying you can never have them. I'm saying for 30 days I don't want you to have them. But flaxseed I allow because of estrogen. Men and women. Okay? So thanks for that question. Okay, I'm just going to go through and try and finish up here. Jan is asking, does coffee have to be organic? No. Now remember, I talked to you about rearranging the the deck chairs on the Titanic. Look at organic is always better, but it doesn't have to be organic. It's better because there's, they don't use any unnatural processes to make the bean and blah, blah, blah. But coffee's good. It's vitamin C. And let me put this in with it now, because Adrian asked, how about quercetin? Quercetin, not with a K, with a Q. Okay, quercetin. I love quercetin. That's why one of the reasons I drink coffee. Because coffee has quercetin. And she was asking about, I think Adrian, it may be a man, asking about quercetin and COVID. Well, they've shown that quercetin helps to drive zinc inside your cell. So you heard all of this when we were going through COVID. Well, jeepers creepers, we're still going through it. But, and isn't it funny now that you hear very little because the vaccine's coming out. And you're hearing very little now about zinc and vitamin D and quercetin. But naturally, your natural shot is quercetin, sending that zinc. How do you get zinc? In steak. In steak. How do you get quercetin? In coffee. Coffee and steak. No, but seriously, guys, that's why, I have been so consistent about coffee. My wife says you never look at a study that would be negative if it was on coffee. True. Every week, there's a new study coming out on coffee and how good it is for you. And they always used to say it was acidic. Coffee's acidic. It's not good for you. When coffee gets into your gut, not only does it deliver quercetin and vitamin C, yeah, the real vitamin C, it turns alkaline. Because somebody was asking, let me just get the pH. Ashley was asking about urine pH. I like urine pH much better than saliva pH. Because unless you do it first thing in the morning before you brush your teeth, but the most important thing in urine is your urine should be very acidic. It's garbage out. You don't want to have alkaline urine in the morning. Garbage out. Your urine should be very acidic. You want your urine to be acidic. And then when you start drinking and, your urine will become more alkaline. And that's just normal. But your first morning urine is when you should be checking. If you want to check the pH, check it first thing in the morning. And you can do your saliva then, before water or whatever. Your saliva should be alkaline, slightly alkaline, and your urine should be acidic. And foods that are acidic become alkaline. So don't listen to that stuff. Tomatoes are very acidic, but not when they get into your gut. Your body knows what to do. It releases baking soda. How do you like that? Sodium bicarbonate. Yep. Unbelievable. Okay. I think it was Brigitta was asking about, somebody said to her, B12 dries up blood. Are you kidding me? I don't know if anybody, why would anybody tell you that? Dries up blood. B12 is very important in making blood. B12 is very important in making red blood cells. A lot of people think it's iron that makes red blood cells, right? But if without B12, you're not making red blood cells. Red blood cells, what do? They carry your O2, oxygen. Oh, Dr. Martin, I got a high B12. Good. I want you to have high B12. That's what I'm aiming for. Yep. Because if you don't have high levels of B12, optimal levels of B12, you're not getting enough oxygen. Plus, we've talked about this, nitric oxide. B12 is a very important vitamin for nitric oxide, which opens your blood vessels. So it's the opposite of what you heard. Brigitta. It's the opposite. Can someone have too much B12? It's a water-soluble vitamin. People are not lined up in the waiting rooms of the emergency department. Oh, I know why you're here. You have too much B12. We better fix that. It's water-soluble. And they're not lined up in the hospitals either for vitamin D. Oh, you got too much vitamin D. Vitamin D is a hormone. Every cell in your body needs vitamin D. So you know what? Look, I don't want to be too controversial. I can't help myself, but you know what I mean? Like vitamin D, why isn't everybody talking about that? The importance of it. Study after study after study has shown that people who die from the virus have low levels of vitamin D. It's almost invariable. As you get older, you got lower levels of vitamin D. As you have leaky gut, you have lower levels of vitamin D. You got dark skin, you have lower levels of vitamin D. You don't eat animal products, you have lower levels of vitamin D. You don't get in the sun, you have lower levels of vitamin D. You are a human solar panel. Rinse and repeat. Rinse and repeat. I'm going to keep saying it. You need it. Oh, Dr. Martin, my doctor said to take 1,000 IUs a day. Yeah, that's for a mouse. He was talking about mice. You go out in the sun for 20 minutes. You get 10,000 IUs. Yes. I know. There's a lot of nonsense out there. That's why you guys are my audience. We try and clear out the nonsense. I love you, so I got to tell you the truth. There's a verse in Galatians in the Bible, 4:16. Have I become your enemy because I told you the truth? I'm going to preach it, guys. Coffee is good. Vitamin D is good. B12 is good. It's essential. These are essential. That's why they're on my hit parade. You want a good pH? Eat the right foods. The only thing that's acidic is sugar. It's very acidic. Okay, I promise not to get too hung up today. Okay, let's see. Marine. Oh, talking about cheese and estrogen. Did I answer that the other day? Well, cheese doesn't have estrogen. Now, maybe, like the cows, there's chemicals. Look, I don't think you can get away completely from chemicals. What are you going to do? What planet are you planning on living on? We live on planet Earth. It ain't perfect. There's enough plastic in the air, in the oceans, in the water systems. Unless you're planning on leaving, oh, Dr. Martin, I'm just going to go live on Mars. Okay, well, good for you. I told you the story about the lady that came into my office. This is 3 or 4 years ago. I'm moving to Costa Rica. Oh, yeah? You mean you got enough money to live there the rest of your life? Yep. She said, I'm never coming back. I said, what about your family? Not too bad. I said, well, it sucks to be the rest of us. Like, what are we all going to do? And even do you think in Costa Rica, they got no chemicals there? Are you kidding me? What little island are you going to go live on by yourself? Seriously. Well, good for you, but it's, come on. No, there's no estrogen in cheese. Who told you that? It'll lower your estrogen. Cheese is good for you. And I answered the question, why not milk? Well, it's just because milk is different than it used to be. You got a cow in the backyard, then drink milk. I'm all for it. I'd rather you drink cream. And I don't even want you to have, where you're living on it. I want you to live on cheese. Why? It's the #1 source of vitamin K2. And vitamin K2 takes calcium out of your blood vessels and puts it into your bones where it belongs. So someone that says, oh, cheese is going to give you osteoporosis, just the opposite. Just the opposite. Eggs, meat, and cheese. EMC. EMC. Nah. Now look it. If you're a person that can't eat cheese, there's some. I feel sorry for you. But you can't say it's not good. It may not be good for you. Right? It may not be good for you because you can't digest it. You got leaky gut. That's what you have. You can't digest dairy, you got leaky gut. 100%. So don't put everybody else with you. There's 5 billion people on the planet, and nobody's got a fingerprint just like you. Nobody. You are unique. And sometimes weird. Don't be offended. If I call you weird, I'm just teasing you. But some people ask me questions like, oh, Doc, I can't eat cheese. You're weird. The rest of us can. And it's good for you. You see, my PhD is in nutrition. I'm a food doctor. There isn't a vegetable on the planet that's got vitamin K2 in it. What can I tell you? I'm not saying vegetables are no good. Did I say that? No, I didn't say that. But there's a reason for my madness, guys. The reason I put you on the 30-day reset, there's a reason for it. And cheese is a part of it. Now, if you can't digest it, well, don't eat it, for sure. Some people can't have eggs. Weird. I still love you. Even though you're weird. But I do, I love you. I feel sorry for you. You can't eat eggs. But don't put the rest of the universe in on that. And when you read something online, on the internet and whatever, take it with a grain of salt. For a lot of these people are gurus who are bought and paid for by the food industry. And there's a whole religion that started even 100 years ago with Dr. Kellogg's. I've told you the story of him. He was an MD. He wasn't stupid. But he was a vegan. Kellogg's cornflakes. It came out of a religion. Anyway. Okay. Somebody's asking, I think it was Gail, too much nitric oxide. No, you can't get too much of it. No. Nitric oxide, whoop. Think of, the story behind nitric oxide, by the way, is they couldn't figure out why when they gave, let's say you had angina. They gave you a pat, or not, in those days it wasn't a pat, they gave you a pill. right? And if you were having an angina attack, they gave you a pill of nitroglycerin, an explosion. They give you a little bit of nitro. You know what nitroglycerin does? It's an explosion. But what it did is it opened up your blood vessels and it would fix angina rapidly. That's the story of nitric oxide. And then eventually in 1980, they discovered the molecule in your body that they thought man-made. Nitroglycerin was man-made, but no, nitric oxide, God gave you that. And we found it I didn't find it, but in 1980, they found it. The guy won a Nobel Prize in medicine. They realized your body has nitro. It wasn't nitroglycerin, it was nitric oxide. So think of that explosion. Opens up your blood vessels. Helps your blood supply. Helps your brain. You ever hear of dementia? You know what that is? They call it small vessel disease. You're not getting enough blood up there. You have hardening of the arteries. This is why nitric oxide is so good for you. Where do you get it? B12. Navitol. That's why I love these things. Okay. Al's asking about, what do I think of colonoscopies? Well, that's between you and your doctor, but I'm just going to say one thing, because I mentioned it the other day when we talking about colonics. You're getting rid of all your good bacteria. You're going to get rid of all your microbiome. You better replace it. So as soon as you do a colonoscopy, then you triple up your probiotics for a good month to get them back in there. Because you're going to wipe all that. And this is when somebody was asking about, let me see where I saw it, taking a laxative. A laxative. Once a week. Use coffee as a laxative. No, but you see, I'm worried. Look, first of all, you don't want your body getting used to that you can't go to the bathroom without a laxative. That's not good for your peristalsis in your bowel. It's not normal. So, and you know, you're going to get rid of a lot of good friendly bacteria that you shouldn't be getting rid of. So, I wouldn't do it every week. No, Dr. Martin, I got to go to the bathroom. Yeah, I get it. You got constipation where a lot of times that's your thyroid, by the way. And, going number 2 can be overrated. I'm not saying don't go. I'm just saying if people think I got to do, if I don't go every day. Okay, let me just see where I am at here. Okay, good question here. Wendy's asking about nutritional ketosis and starvation. Okay, look. If you lower your carbs down to almost nothing, you're going to go into ketosis. You're going to change fuels. The EMC, eggs, meat, and cheese, the reset, it sets you into ketosis, where you're burning ketones instead of carbs. Okay? You're burning fat as fuel. It's a better fuel. Now, is that dangerous? Of course not. Eskimos, Inuit, don't get heart disease. They don't. Until they eat McDonald's. Seriously. Now they die because somebody said, well, how do they die if they don't die of heart disease and cancer and that? The polar bears eat them. No, but seriously, they live differently than us, and they eat nothing but blubber, fat. Well, they're burning ketones all the time because they're using fat as fuel. Now, ketoacidosis, that's completely different. And a lot of physicians, whenever they see the word ketosis, it bugs them because they're thinking of ketoacidosis, which is the last stage before you die. Your body is turning on itself. Ketoacidosis, diabetics have to be careful of ketoacidosis. That's different. It's the last stage where your body breaks down and starts literally eating itself. Dangerous. I've seen people, because they can't get control of their diabetes, they go into ketoacidosis. That's different. Okay? So there's a big difference. Ketones, look, they're good for you. They're good for you. Everything today is keto, keto, keto. Okay? And I like it. I'm different a little bit, but I don't mind ketones. Now, exogenous ketones, I'm not that big on that. Where you drink something or take a supplement of ketones. Well, that's not emptying your liver. That's why I'd rather you eat your way to good health. Eat your way to good health. Eggs, meat, and cheese. Let me just see here. Okay. I answered Jocelyn's question about flaxseed. Darlene's asking about adrenaline and insulin, cortisol. Cortisol elevates your insulin. Think of it. That's cortisol, right? You're into the fight or flight for a period of time. That elevates your insulin. Your insulin is up. It's elevating your blood sugars. And what goes up must come down. Up and down and up and down. That's what cortisol does. It certainly will elevate your insulin. It does a lot of other things too. Okay. Let me just see here. Diana was asking about swollen ankles and calves. And look, that can be low nitric oxide. So check your B12 levels. It can be dehydration. Oh, doc, I'm drinking water. Yeah, but you might still be dehydrated. It may be a sign of what they call congestive heart failure, that your heart muscle is just not strong enough to be pumping your blood down and then bringing it back. Could be that. Could be kidney stress. That's why the reset. It helps your kidneys. It takes the stress. Sugar stresses your kidneys. A lot of times with circulation, it can be nitric oxide, but it also can be sugar. And the other thing that happens when you're eating sugar, you are dehydrating yourself because you're taking out your magnesium out of your body. Your body eliminates your salts. Salt's not the problem. Sugar's the problem. Good question. Okay. Cheryl was asking about nutritional yeast as a supplement, right? Because it's got all the B vitamins. Yeah, but I'm big on you eating your B vitamins. If you eat eggs, meat, and cheese, you get all your B vitamins plus B12. Because B12 is only found in red meat. And someone's asking, is pork considered red meat? Yeah, it's not a steak though. There's a little bit of B12 in pork. Okay? But not as much as steak or hamburger. Okay. Good question, Cheryl. Beth was asking, if I eat an avocado before drinking, do I negate the effects of the alcohol? No. No. Alcohol makes a beeline towards your liver, 100% and fast. So, nah, there's nothing you can do. I mean, just don't drink too much. Okay. David was saying, should I quit drinking whipping cream? Well, again, if you can get the natural, nothing added 35% whipping cream, which I love, by the way. But for the rest of us, look, like I said at the top of the program, we don't live in a perfect world. It's hard to get, perfection in this world. It's just hard to do. I want you to to start off, I want people to look at the big picture. Get the big picture first. And, someone was asking, I went to Costco and I looked at the bacon and it's got 1 gram of carbs in it or sugar. I'm not too worried about that. I'm not. Now, if you can get one with 0 grams of carbs or whatever, but at the end of the day, get the big picture. You're going to get the results with the big picture. And then as you become more and more educated in whatever, then you can hone in on reading every label and all that. I'm encouraging that, by the way. And then if you can find the perfect alternative to it, then go for it. I'm 100% behind you. Okay, just understand, I'm a big picture guy. I want you to understand where I'm coming from, and I want to lower your insulin, empty your liver, get your triglycerides down, get your HDL up, get your waist circumference. I want to fix metabolic syndrome. That's the big picture. And you will if you eat bacon and eggs. You will if you eat steak. You will if you eat cheese. You will if you have cream. It's for people on the Titanic. Change course. Don't worry about the deck chairs right away. We'll fix that after. When you've avoided the iceberg. Get it? I think you do. You guys are smart. Love you guys. You have no idea. Thanks so much for making The Metabolic Reset the #1 book. Incredible. Okay? Incredible. Thank you for that. If you're not a member of our Martin Clinic Facebook group, please join. Get your friends, get your family, get them to join our private Facebook group. What a group. You guys are smart, I'm telling you. I'm giving you honorary doctorate degrees in nutrition. Some of you are so smart. Good for you. Okay? And what else was I going to say? Anyways, love you. We talk to you soon.